So today we're going to be watching 35 AI civilizations battle it out on a giant Earth map mod. And I'm calling this the Conquer Colonization game because a lot of these civs start off in a very small corner of the map, but there's just so much land out there. So this world should be a complete mess by the end of this. So I'm sure there's some of you guys that are wondering why exactly I didn't include some of the Native American civs as well as the USA and Brazil. You know, a lot of these AI-only battles have already covered this sort of thing. They've already done the AI-only battle with, 43 other civilizations, everyone included, and I wanted to do something different. I don't want to just repeat the same process because more than likely you've already seen it. You've already seen that sort of thing on the subreddit or on a screenshot. I know there's a few people that are doing some things on it. I want to do something different, and I really thought this would be extremely different because we're going to actually see colonization, and colonization was such a big part of our history, and that's something that I really enjoy, and it's going to be so fun to see this completely alternative history where more than likely I'm thinking Morocco might be one of the biggest colonization powers in this entire game. Morocco might completely cover South America, and remember, this is deity, so automatically every single person, every single civ starts off with an extra settler. So, I mean, as you can see, I started off in turn 1 just so we can get a general basis of where all the cities are going to be. We're going to see automatically these people just go for stuff, and Europe is just so congested with civs. These guys are going to have to do something. They're going to have to do something because they're not going to be able to stay in Europe for much longer. That's why I call it conquer and colonization, because I think there's going to be a lot of conquering in the very beginning and then colonization a little bit later, and then maybe some more conquer. But the big thing is that no one's in Australia. And a big person I think that could colonize, obviously, Australia would be Indonesia. Indonesia has the opportunity of grabbing a lot of at least the coastal tiles along Australia. I know that there's not, well, I mean, you do have one natural wonder within inside, right in the middle of Australia, and then you have all of the Americas, and who knows, you could even see maybe Hawaii reaching, I'm sorry, not Hawaii, Japan. I guess Japan could colonize Hawaii and then make their way over towards the west coast of the US. So that's what I wanted to do. That seems like so much fun to see who is the master of colonization in this game. So before we jump into this, I want to go over a few things. First of all, there are a few civs that got screwed automatically right off the bat. Of course, the Netherlands, and I'm sorry, buddy. All these civs I'm kind of rooting for automatically a little bit here just because, damn, I mean, you guys got really screwed. I think the Netherlands are going to be maybe okay. Actually, you know what? I think they're just too close to everyone. Yeah, the Netherlands, their best bet might be to go settle up north here in just north of Copenhagen or Stockholm. As well as the other one would be Venice. Yeah, Venice is in a tough spot. And the final one is Assyria. That's a big one because Assyria is a huge warmongering civ. So they better, I mean, they won't, that's not going to be a big deal for them. They're going to slap down something. The only thing is, it's going to be right here in the middle of the desert if they choose to, or they can spend more time to get up here and grab some of these crucial resources. Now, right off the bat, I went ahead and discovered the iron and horses technology, just because those are the, two big resources right in the very beginning of the game. So before I hit next turn, I would love to hear your answers in the comments below, who you think will predict. Now, who do you think will, I guess, predict your win? Who do you think is going to win this game? No spoilers. If you haven't watched the other AI-only Europe campaign, I'm about to spoil you. So, okay. Poland won last time. I do not think Poland's going to win this time. I really doubt it. There's too many civs out here in Asia to stop Poland, specifically the Huns. The Huns are going to really stop a lot, and I think the Huns, if they play their cards right, will take over Catherine first. But that doesn't even matter, because you know what? I think a big one is going to be Mongolia. If someone is going to be spreading out over here and grabbing like modern-day Russian lands, they better watch out, because Mongolia, I bet, is going to be extremely expansive. And I'm sure they're going to take over either China or Korea very soon, because with their, oh my gosh, with their amazing horse units, I think we're going to see Mongolia completely dominate. So my predictions, though, I think Europe is kind of screwed, which should be funny. It should be really funny to watch as all these guys just battle it out and kill each other off. I would say my favorites to win, this might be a little bit weird, but I really like them. I think the Zulu, baby. I'm thinking Zulu is one of my top 3. I'm gonna make 3 guesses. I think the Zulu have a lot of opportunity here, where obviously Africa has some great strategic resources, and a lot of them is completely open. I think Ethiopia traditionally plays tall because of their unique ability, because they fight better by having less cities. The AI does tend to play a little bit taller than normal, so I don't think we're going to see too much expansion from Ethiopia, but I think we're going to see a lot from the Zulu. The Zulu love to be expansive. They can go after Madagascar and just cover all of South Africa without much of anyone really contesting those lands. Possibly Songhai, possibly, because I'm sure he's not, well, he might colonize some of the Sahara Desert, but it all depends. I mean, if he wants some of these jungle tiles, which is going to be a lot of science, and that's another reason why I'm choosing the Zulu, is if they grab these jungle tiles, which Ethiopia might as well, then he could generate a lot of science per turn when he gets, I believe it's the universities that offer you 1 extra science per jungle tile. My second one to possibly win is got to be India. India, baby, yes. Gandhi might just nuke the entire world. He's got a lot of salt resources up here. Again, there's desert, but that's okay. He could get the Petra and go after all these amazing salt resources, and he's really uncontested. There's really not a lot of civs that can really stop him, unless, of course, Syria decides to move into the east instead of north into the desert. That could be a possibility. I think we're going to see tensions between India and Siam, but for the most part, I think Gandhi has got to be a pretty good possible prediction in this game. The final one, and I guess I have to choose Korea. I have to choose Korea. That they could. Now, it really depends here. It really depends on how strong Japan is, how much Japan decides to colonize Eastern Asia, if they decide to actually get off their own island. But I think Korea, you got to think Korea here. I'm not rooting for Babylon. I mean, Korea and Babylon are essentially the same in terms of, I mean, their science output is going to be amazing. But you know what? Honestly, Babylon is way too clustered up here. I don't think they're going to be able to survive, even though they have amazing defensive buildings that could help them fight off any sort of aggressive AI. But yeah, I'm going to say Korea, India, and the Zulu as my picks. If I had to pick one person to win, I'm gonna go with the Zulu. Why? I don't really have a reason behind it, but I'm gonna go with the Zulu. So let's go ahead and go to the next turn and see what happens. This is going to be pretty fun. And I'm loving that. It's weird because the turns go by so fast in the beginning. So a lot of these AIs are going to slap down their second, maybe even third cities, depending on what happens. So I'm not going to focus. I'm going to focus on wherever the battle is going on. I'm going to focus on kind of all of the regions. But anyways, I just hope that you guys left your prediction in the comment section below. I don't think that there were too many people. There was probably only a small handful of people that really made the prediction come right. Or I guess their prediction come true in terms of in terms of the AI only Europe battle. As you can see, I don't have city states. I have no city raising on, and I have no barbarians. Every single one of those factors is to allow the AI to be as aggressive and as expansive as possible. All 3 of those factors make the AI, because first of all, the AI is not good at combating against barbarians. They also can't raise cities, which means that we're going to have a huge empires. And when it comes down to it, the AI, well, besides Mongolia looks like it's going to forward settle China here. They might already be going after Beijing. That is pretty funny. At the end of the day, no AIs declare war on city-states. They just don't, and I don't like that. And if the city-states tend to generate in the Baltics area, that could completely separate Greece from everything else that's going on. Greece and Constantinople, Byzantium, from anything else that's going on inside of like Western Europe and stuff like that. So, yeah. So it looks like Mongolia has their second city down. Oh, no, we also have Memphis, and as well as Medina on the southern part of the Arabian Peninsula. Ethiopia is still looking for their spots, and the Ethiopia is still looking, and it looks like they are going to go and grab these jungle tiles, which is going to be good for their science. Well, but still, I think the Zulu do have access to the Madagascar island, so we'll see how that goes for them. But it doesn't look like they are completely going after their next spots. Siam, India, so it looks like almost everyone has down their second city. Again, it helps out so much if you guys leave some comments in the section below. There's going to be so much that's going to go down throughout this entire campaign. I will not be able to keep up. I'm going to try my best to at least watch the wars and at least like set up the storylines, but it really helps. You guys you guys building up the lore and kind of watching and helping me out with the storylines here is makes it amazingly fun, because there's just going to be so much. There are 35 other civilizations here, and I cannot wait to see who exactly is going to colonize some of the big regions, like Greenland and Iceland and Canada, North America in general, Central America, all of South America. That's going to be pretty fun. Maybe someone's going to go after Hawaii. Maybe Japan. I mean, really, Japan is maybe possibly the only one. I think Indonesia is definitely got to be one of the underrated civs here. Definitely underrated, because every single island that they colonize is going to offer them even more happiness. Now, the AI doesn't tend to do super amazing with their other happiness, but with happiness in general. But they also have they also have access to Krakatoa, which is a natural wonder that's going to offer them 5 extra science. So yeah, I mean, that's going to offer them a little bit of extra science, and they're going to get a lot of happiness by settling on all these other islands. A lot, if they play their cards right. But the AI doesn't tend to do super good in terms of happiness, so we'll see. We'll see. I also, of course, have the Info Addicts mod stationed up. Actually, not at the right moment. I don't have it exactly right now. I've got to load it up in the next video, but I will have the Info Addicts mod in part 2. I guess I thought I didn't need it for part 1. But yeah, no, I think Indonesia is going to be a very underrated civ that I don't think a lot of people are going to be noticing. But if they play their cards right, they will be extremely expansive. I'm loving that Mongolia has already forward settled China. That is so terrifying. That is so terrifying of Genghis Khan to do that like that. Oh, man. And Korea doesn't look like they're going to settle in a much better spot either. If you settle right here, you're only asking for more tension. Japan, I think, is going to stay on their home island for now. Kyoto and probably settling Tokyo up north or something like that. We'll see. China's going to move down south. There are some good resources down here, but Siam, well, I don't know. You know what? Siam, I bet you won't find China for a very long time, because the AI is not super good at moving their way through these mountains. Not usually. Traditionally, they're not the best at kind of moving their way through these mountains. Who is this? Oh, Carthage already going for a coastal city. They're not, though. Ooh, one more tile and they would have gotten a coastal city. That would have been interesting, because Carthage could have been a very, very good colonizer in this game, but I guess not. Europe is going to have some trouble. Okay, so in terms of Europe, I think the first civ, okay, so we have France and Austria, only ones grabbing, and Poland, of course, and Denmark. Okay, so these, I think you got to assume that these are going to be the civs that are kind of out there doing a little bit better than everybody else. How has Assyria done? Assyria is still looking for the next spot. Oh, poor Assyria. Oh, I feel bad for them. They have two. They'll settle eventually, and I don't want to. I kind of got to root for them just because they're going to be a few turns off. Venice hasn't found a spot either, and the Netherlands haven't either. That sucks. But if you remember my AI Europe game, you will see that Denmark didn't. Well, actually, Denmark had settled their first city, but they hadn't settled their second city for very much longer. But they were still able to navigate around Sweden and eventually get up a very big empire by the time they were able to start it up and get the ball rolling. So I definitely don't think that you can count out these civs. Technically, it's only turn 9. It's really not that bad. Even though it's deity, there's going to be a lot of things going on within this game. So much things that are really going to slow down the victory type. So, you know, before I continue, I do kind of want to briefly talk about some of the civs. Not so much in Europe, but I do want to talk about the Celts, because the Celts had such a disappointing game in the AI only Europe battle that I did. And by the way, if you want to see that, I will leave a link in the description below so you guys can watch that one if you haven't already. But the Celts had such a boring game, and really the Celts, I really hope that the Celts take this opportunity to go after some really crucial land here. If they wanted to, technically the Celts could be. I mean, I guess England could too, as well as, Elizabeth could. But look at the Celts. They can go and move up here, cross Greenland, and go and make it to Canada first. I don't think they're going to be that smart. It really depends. I mean, they're going to have a lot of units, so it's possible, but we'll see. I'm really hoping for a very strong Celts in this game. That'll be a really nice sight to see. I don't want them to be boring. And also, I mean, really depends on if the Celts can settle Ireland first. That'll be big. But of course, they're going to need to get the unit embarkment technology first if they're going to want to do that. So again, a lot of the European civs are screwed. There's just not a lot of land in here. So you kind of got to be thinking civs outside of Europe are going to dominate. But those civs are also going to the European civs are also going to have huge I think huge colonization and exploration and expansion towards the middle to late part of the game, because they're going to be the ones going after the Americans, because they're going to be looking for land. While I think a lot of the African civs are going to be too preoccupied with all the amazing resources here. Could be. And I really only think the only person inside of East Asia could be Japan that maybe makes it over there. But there's a lot. Obviously, the Pacific Ocean is a very large ocean, and it's a lot more tiles to cross and a lot more land to explore for an AI compared to the Atlantic, where, you know, not as bad. It's not as bad, but maybe it's still going to be difficult. So yeah, this is going to be a very, very fun part of the map to watch. We have 3 civs immediately right next to each other: Korea, China, and Mongolia. Now, Mongolia isn't super powerful in the beginning of this game, but if Mongolia, in a few more turns, in a few more eras, they will be extremely strong. And do they have access to horses? That is a big, big factor here. Not yet, but here are 2 horses here, and I don't see any more. Okay, there's 2 horses. There are a few more horse resources, but I don't see them just yet. Okay. There's a lot of salt as well over here. So yeah, this is going to be a very, very fun part of the map, and I know I have not been looking at the Pantheon, so it looks like Japan has gotten up their first Pantheon, and someone else has gotten the other one. I think it's going to be either Ethiopia or the Celts. Let me go and check the religion overview screen. And in terms of Pantheons, we have, Ethiopia got the first Pantheon up, as well as Japan. So Ethiopia has decided to go with 30% increase in city range combat strength. That's going to make them even better for defending their territory. I don't think anyone's going to really be able to compete with Ethiopia in terms of, like, I don't think anyone's going to take over Ethiopia. Because of their unique ability, because of this religion and this Pantheon, they're going to be pretty dominant. And Japan decided to go with extra 2 faith for each gem and pearl resource. So they have, wow, that was a very smart, that was a pretty smart one for them. They've got 2 pearls here and 1 gem there. So that's going to generate them eventually, when they get their borders out there, that'll generate them a total of 6 extra faith. And, you know, who knows how much shrines they have up, and so on and so forth. Looks like Assyria might be settling their first city here. Well, actually, no, they're not. They're exploring, but they're not settling. Babylon also, man, Babylon is going to be tough. I know that Babylon obviously could be a favorite for a lot of people to win, but because of this just massive just cluster of civs, it's going to be so tough for them. It is going to be really, really tough. Morocco also didn't settle Coastal City, which might have been a good choice for them as well. So we actually might not see Morocco. I mean, their capital is coastal, so that's all that matters, as well as Carthage's capital is also coastal. But it really depends, because who is going to lock off the Mediterranean? That's going to be big for whoever decides to do that. And I assume we're probably going to see a few wars break out inside of Europe very fast here. Yeah, pretty fast here. And I'm wondering who in the British Isles is going to settle their second city. The Scandinavian civs have decided they have got up there. They've pretty much gotten all of Scandinavia already, almost all of Scandinavia. And we have Russia out almost as... Now, I'm wondering, Russia does this weird thing in almost all of their games where they don't settle or they don't expand very fast. It's not just been in the previous AI-only Europe game. It also happened in quite a few other games that I've watched where, you know, Catherine tends to be kind of slow at her expansion. It doesn't look like she's going to play it that game, it doesn't look like she's going to play that strategy in this game, particularly because she already has a settler out there. But still, it's kind of weird because she could have gotten up a city a lot faster than that. The Zulu have their second city. Oh man, Zulu, you could be so dominant. The only thing is, the only person that could stop the Zulu is Ethiopia. But if Ethiopia can fall, if the Zulu can manage to bring down with their MPs the Ethiopian Empire, then I really think it's just going to start to be a snowball effect, where especially if they take over Thebes, who more than likely Egypt is going to get up a lot of wonders. I think if they can take over Ethiopia, they're going to be able to take over Egypt, take a bunch of wonders, and I think they might be unstoppable because everyone in Europe is going to be really, really vulnerable to whatever civ is the most expansive. And the most expansive civs, I think, could be the Zulu, Russia, and Mongolia. Oh, man. Now, who's the next settler up? Mongolia. Now, obviously, everyone has their second city. That's pretty normal. Now, when we start to see someone settle their third city, those are going to be the starting civs where we see these guys might be very, very powerful within this game. Mongolia already has they already have their third settler up, and it looks like they might be looking for some horse resources. I'd be extremely afraid if I was Korea and China, because they have a direct adjacent, they have almost an adjacent city to both of them. Adjacent cities. Japan should be safe. The AI doesn't tend to navigate too well out here in the sea, but man, I've got to be, this is going to be so crazy to watch. There's so many civs. I mean, oh, holy crap. There's just so many to kind of watch out for. Siam is doing their thing. Siam and India should be pretty peaceful. Should be a kind of a nice, I mean, I'll try to look in this region as much as I can, but it should be a pretty relaxed part of the map. Anyways, guys, looks like I'm gonna have to stop right there. Again, if you guys enjoyed this series, if you guys are excited for this, honestly, I'm unbelievably excited for this. I mean, you guys might see me orgasm for this. I really cannot stop myself. I wanted to kind of hold off on this for a little bit, but I couldn't stop anymore. I really, really wanted to play this game because I could not wait to see what happens. I will probably have an orgasm sometime within this campaign. I hope you guys are ready because I'm extremely excited. So anyways, guys, if you like this video, please leave a like. Please leave your comments for your predictions in the section below. I cannot wait to see you guys in part 2 tomorrow.